enthusiastic isn't just happy, happy, joy, joy. Enthusiasm means in God, means in the divine. So if people call me, Katie, you're too enthusiastic, you're too energetic, I'm like, hey, I'm just stepping into the light. And it takes a long time. And for any of you viewers, listeners out there who feel like you're too something, you're too black, you're too white, you're too loud, you're too quiet, you're too old, you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're too smart, you're too quiet, you're too. Oftentimes that what follows that too is your brilliance. Find people that want that too. Lean into the people that want that too, because they're out there and they're waiting for you.
You are now listening to the podcast where authors inspire listeners to become authors, the Going North Podcast. I'm your host, certified self-leadership trainer, best-selling author, and book enthusiast, DomBrightmon. And you're going to be listening to a different author that will inspire you to join the business of immortality, known as authorship. Now let the fun begin. Another episode, another review to highlight, and this is a 5-star review from Philly Girl 2 titled Lessons with a Good Dose of Humor. Dom is such an engaging host. He makes everyone feel at ease, has a great sense of humor, and is an overall great conversationalist. A wide range of topics make it a show to come back to again and again. And again, I thank you, Philly Girl 2, for leaving that great review about what you like about the show. And if you too have something you like about the Going North podcast itself, head over to Apple Podcasts or goingnorthpodcast.com and tell us what you like about the show so we can keep doing just that. Now let's get on with today's episode. And today on the Highlight Reel Builder for Authors, known as the Going North Podcast, we got another super special, awesome human for you today. Because in the words of one of my favorite video game characters of all time, Big Smoke, it's time to return the favor, baby. That's right, indeed, because it's a host special, y'all. That's right, indeed, because today's guest is not only a wonderful international best-selling author, she's also a podcast host, too. So that makes her an international best-selling bookcaster, y'all. That's right, indeed. And she is freaking fit is all get out. She could steal your husband, his son, and your father-in-law, y'all. That's right indeed, because she is also an award-winning bodybuilder because she's actually won a couple bikini competitions. And in addition to that, she's also a mom of 3, transformational speaker, business consultant, fitness guru, and a certified high-performance coach. So let's give it up for the kind and magnificent Kate McKay. How you doing today, Kate?
I'm doing awesome. I'm so glad you're here. I was tickled when I was like, oh, today's the day we get to play. I really appreciate the opportunity of presenting and creating magic with you today. So thank you so very much.
Right back at your day. And I'm like, yeah, this chick is freaking amazing. I was like, recorded the episode, I think it was like last year at the time of this record. I'm like, man, this chick's got freaking full of energy. This it's like she's more energetic than some freaking 30 and 20-year-olds I freaking know.
I just turned 60, Dom. I just turned 60. So I got to keep it going.
And looking better than some folks in their 30s. It's like she's killing the game. But my goodness, so speaking of life, you freaking mastered life indeed. Because the thing is, folks may be like, yeah, this freaking chick is freaking amazing doing all this stuff. And it's like they probably don't know that you have a lot of wonderful dips and pits and probably moments where you felt like you were in hell where you had to fight back to get back to earth. So, by goodness, what would you consider your biggest setback that actually set you up for success, Kate?
Oh my goodness, isn't that like which pivot do we choose? Yeah, the interesting thing is like I'm one of 9 children. I usually say that on the get-go because I think that defines a lot of my insanity. I'm number 6 of 9. Yeah, no, legit. So number 6 and 9. So I had no authority, right? I grew up in a life that I really felt like, you know what? My voice, you just got to be quiet and be part of the pack. And I think any of you that have been part of a big family, that is really what it's about. And you don't really learn like leadership. You learn about advocacy, because certainly I was brought up as a Catholic girl, but leadership is a whole nother ball of wax. And so that's been a big part of my journey, is stepping into the power and the uniqueness of me. And even though I coach on it, and as you do, it has been, I believe, the reason why I'm here. And much of it, people say that to me often. Wow, you have so much energy. You're so positive. Well, I'm only positive because I got knocked down so hard a few different times in my life that I've had to find ways, bigger meanings, deeper meanings, and really seeking the light, because it's easy to surrender in some ways, but to me, it never was an option. And I think the most significant and most recent was in 2017. 3 children, built a multi-million-dollar company, bikini competitor, blah, blah, blah. Just footnote, y'all, I'm an ADHD freak. So this is all fueled by some pretty intense ADHD. But in 2017, on October 14th, my son, Will, who was in many ways the spiritual center of my family. He was the most peaceful human being any of you would ever meet. He was beautiful. He was exquisite. He would play Chopin and you would weep. He was an incredible gymnast. He was a beautiful human. And he decided, as his friends say, to ascend on his own accord. He took his own life in the woods up in New Hampshire. So I had talk about getting swept under. I had no concept of suicide. I had never had suicide ideation. And to hear that 85% of people have had it after the fact was shocking to me. So Will's name was Will. He had free will. He acted on that. And much of, I think, the biggest part, Dom, really truly to come back from that is to surrender and realize that what would be the purpose of me looking at the why? Like, it's like he made a choice. I can grieve over it because obviously I've lost a child, but it's not my purpose to figure out the why. It's my purpose to figure out what am I going to do and how am I going to grieve this process in a way that can inspire and encourage other people to be courageous enough to face the ugly and the hot mess of loss, because there is beauty in loss. We just have to look for it. And I'm not saying, listen, a part of me died, legit. Anyone who says, you lose someone, John, you're talking about your mom, right? A piece of her died when she lost her hubby, right? And so it's like, how do we recover from that? But not only just recover, how do we thrive? How do we grow? How do we model and serve from this beautiful vulnerability, this wound that is the truth of who we are?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yeah, definitely still sorry for the loss of your son like that with his self-ascension decision, because it's definitely rough. And just looking back and, of course, doing a little homework, I was like, oh, dang, it's kind of interesting because sadly, with you being the sixth of nine, and then your brother at 22, when you're always looking out for him and and everything like that, and sadly,
Right.
him being taken out, sadly, and then your mom being 54 at the time, and then you being 54 when your son passed. It's like, wow. It's like, oh god, like it's
Crazy,
kind of,
right, Dom? So that's
yeah,
just nuts, because it's like, listen, we come into this world with energy, right? I never fit into anything. I didn't fit into my family. I was always different. And so sometimes we're not always called to do the light things. I wish that I was like the light person, that I didn't have to like go through these hard things, but there's a reason why, right? I mean, like you said, both my mom and both our sons were 22, both of us were 54. My mom couldn't handle the grief, right? It took her down. And so I realized, I got to do it differently, because I refused, I absolutely refused to not do the work for my own other 2 children, because I had to be the one that healed generational stuff, because I refused to have them carry it. That wasn't their work to do, it was mine. And so I take that as a noble cause. I was like, all right. And my mission statement was, and always, and is, and will always be, to live powerfully with courage and enthusiasm. And when Will died, I was like laying in bed and I was like, God, you got one hell of a sense of humor. Because if there's an ability for me to figure out how to do grief with courage and enthusiasm and to do it powerfully, I was going to figure it out. And when you think about it, right, enthusiastic isn't just happy, happy, joy, joy. Enthusiasm means in God, means in the divine. So if people call me, Katie, you're too enthusiastic, you're too energetic, I'm like, hey, I'm just stepping into the light. And it takes a long time. And for any of you viewers, listeners out there who feel like you're too something, you're too black, you're too white, you're too loud, you're too quiet, you're too old, you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're too smart, you're too quiet, you're too. Oftentimes that what follows that too is your brilliance. Find people that want that too. Lean into the people that want that too, because they're out there and they're waiting for you. Legit.
Woohoo! That's right indeed. That's right indeed. She's bringing that heat indeed. That too, y'all. That's right indeed. Yeah, that too, y'all. That's right indeed. Folks be
Well,
like
it's
too
true
much.
even Dom with the bikini competitions, because like I competed for 17 years. People are like, why do you do that? Well, like I said earlier, I have super ADHD. So when I'm knowing I have to do a big project like write a book or launch a course or whatever it is, I'll pick a show because I know in that 2 to 3 months, I'm going to be laser on, right? So I've used even sport as a way to focus. So any of you out there that feel like you can't get stuff done, you don't know what motivates and drives you. And people say, Kate, you're so disciplined. I laugh. I'm not disciplined. I'm just like one of those kids that play bumper, pool, bowling and need the things on the side. I need that level of structure because we all have to remember really structure and giving ourselves a system is the way we really experience the deepest level of freedom. Everything exists in that freedom. And so many people, including myself for so many years, resisted that. And understanding really and owning that is the way that we really can make the biggest difference and serve at the highest. Serve at the highest the way we came here.
Heck yeah, indeed. Serving higher than weed. You love to see it. You love to see it indeed. So it sounds like writing and really fitness are a way for you to really creatively express yourself and possibly deal with your grief too. So my goodness, was there something else that you tapped into to really help you to get back to form and possibly even be the best version of Kate that you are today?
Something in particular that, well, I think that when you're talking about writing, or you're talking about any kind of system, and this is really what I do a lot with my coaching, is that our psychology and our professional development, our personal and professional development are so interlinked. We cannot, in this day and age, think they're different because our success is only going to make manifest by how equal these two are so that we can lift up and rise. Because if we're broken and our relationships suck, it's not likely that we're going to have super as high as we could get in our professional development. So a lot of the coaching magic and what I love about it is being able to listen to people's stories because life is storytelling. Life is storytelling. Your story, people are waiting for your story. All of you listening, people are waiting for your story. You may not think you have a significant story, but your story could save someone's life. Truly, I promise you this is true. I wouldn't lie to you. I'm a truth teller. So much of coaching, or even I was a theater major. So storytelling is in coaching too, is being able to hear the person's story, asking the question, and most importantly, listening to what they're not saying. I'm always listening for what people are longing for. So what in your heart are you longing for that someone can help you uncover it? And then the beautiful thing is mirror back the story. And then you can create your system of success because the truth is, and this is true for everybody, there is a system and a way that you approach things, parts in your life that you've had success that can be repeatable. So I am a pretty practical coach because I want people to still make money. It's not just, cupcakes and sunshine. I'm looking to help people make manifest, and money is energy. And the more we have, the more we can serve. I had a gold business. I built a multi-million-dollar company from scratch, flipping grilled cheese with one hand and buying and selling gold on the other. And I did this on a hope and a prayer that I believed in fair value for people. And it was an incredible motivator. And here I was surrounded by gold, right? A ton of it, like $17 million worth of it in like 3 years. And I'm a theater major. Lest I remember. I have to remember. You guys remember this. I did all my spreadsheets because they had to be color coded because I couldn't like the math thing. But I built that on a hope and a prayer on this belief of prosperity. And I'm Irish girl, so Irish girls tend to not have the good gold. The Italians and the Portuguese, that's where I bought all the gold. but I understood the value, right? And I think that if we look at gold as a symbolism of what our value is and what we bring into the world, that's really key. And when we're talking about system, writing down your system becomes your life process. And I think writing is key. And it is the way that you figure out your magic, because clarity is power. Your words will give you such clarity. And the most important thing is grab yourself a pen and paper. On our phone, on a computer, it's not the same. It's not the same creative process. So that's a big point, is like, get yourself a journal and write. Even if you think, I don't have anything, reach out to me and I'll give you a list of prompts, because there's tons of them, because we all have stories to share. And I promise you, in your story is more money. Money is hiding in your story.
There you go. Funny enough, one of your recent books, if I'm not mistaken, you basically had all the main points written down on sticky notes and got it done, basically, if I'm not mistaken, right?
My first book. So that's why I want to say to you guys, if you feel like, oh my gosh, I don't have the discipline, I don't have the content. I did my first book. It was called Living Sexy Fit, which is now Claim Your Inner Hottie, my newest release. But I did it on Post-it notes. And it was, what are the things that I keep talking about? Having healthy boundaries, getting your needs met, how to release self-sabotage, how to eat clean, how to exercise. Why is weight training so important? These are the things that people were always asking me. And I'm like, these are the things I'm always talking about. So I started writing it. I was just sitting there at breakfast and my kids were off. The kitchen was a mess. And I just started taking Post-it notes and started writing things. And then I categorized them and I realized there was a 3-point system. It was motivational mojo, which is, as you and I know, the personal development stuff. But then how do we fuel our body? Self-respect begins here at the lips, man. This is where it begins. And then obviously I'm a weight training girl. I'm now moved on to another sport called pole dancing, which is extremely difficult, but it has the same quality of weight training. But we need resistance training. So all of you out there thinking, how can you look like you do at 60? It's because I lift the weights. I've ground the weights since I was 21. And again, it's been my drug of choice. I think that I probably would have been a drug addict, because I have the bad ADHD. Weight training helped me significantly. So we got to do all of these pieces. And it's not vain. It's not arrogant. It's not egotistical to honor this gorgeous skin suit that you were given in its unique, messy, broken, sagging, cut, whatever it is, body that you were given. It is uniquely brilliant and beautiful. It's our job to embrace it where it is.
Heck yeah, indeed. Sir, indeed. Started that weightlifting at 12, and now she's 6 years old and looking great. You love to see it. That's right.
Yeah, look at this. There's my guns. I'm 115 pounds. I'm a little one, but I'm a little muscular girl. I love to hang from things. So I want to always have the joy, right, Dom? I mean, for me, it's like that was the harsh thing. So any of you that have gone through or are going through harsh times, it's difficult for you to see the light. 2 things. Number 1 is remember Les Brown's expression. When life knocks you down, make sure you fall on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up. In other words, always seek the light. Always seek the light. And number 2, there are people that will help you. You are not alone. So many people, when they lose hope, feel alone. And I promise you, there are people that have gone through your same struggle, and they may be only 1 step ahead of you, but reach out for help. That's the thing that's most important. And that's really the premise of what Claim Your Inner Warrior, my book, especially for men, with my son Will on the cover, was written for that, because I didn't realize, or it came to so much more into the forefront of my mind, how many men are struggling. I mean, women too, but women have the ability to talk and reflect and, work things out with their girlfriends. It's just easy. They're socialized that way, where men are not, and they're not nurtured into that socialization. And that's a devastating truth. Because if men can't speak their truth, how can they own the man that they are and who they came here to be? And I think that's part of women's obligation too, is to allow women to be men. Men are different. So how do we honor their path, their voice in a way that honors both of them? Women, we need men. Men, we need women. And we need to honor each other in the process. Is so key. And you know what? Maybe if one person reached out to my son Will, he'd still be here right now. Yeah. So if there's anyone that you think of right now listening that you're like, man, they're struggling, do me a favor. After this call, or even now, pause it, reach out to that person, text them, call them, and even just, hey, just thinking about you, it could save someone's life, man. I'm not kidding you. It seriously could. I've heard stories upon stories of just this. So 1, 2, 3. I did this to my son the other day, Dom. He was in a bad mood and he was like, rah, rah, rah. I go, baby, do me a favor. He's like, what? I'm like, reach out to like 3 people right now that you know are struggling. And he's like, all right. I'm like, who would they be? And he lists them off. I'm like, all right, babe, talk to you later. And later he talks to me. He's like, this one. He was like so happy. I'm like, baby, did you call those people? He goes, yeah, mom, not just 3, 4. I said, that's it. Because you reach out to somebody that's in that, it will shift your psychology. Dom, do you agree on that?
Oh yeah, definitely agree indeed. Like reaching out to old colleagues and friends really does make a difference because they sometimes be like, "Oh, hey, well, it's a pleasant surprise." It's like, "Hey, call more often."
Right. And so what, as from a male perspective, like, why do you think that, like, I'm really glad you and your brother have each other through what you're going through with your mom, but why do you think this is important? And what's the resistance to it from your perspective?
Really, just sometimes folks just really kind of grow apart and get lazy. And sometimes, heck, even having a conversation with some college yesterday where some folks are probably playing the bad game of waiting to see who calls first
Yes.
or who
Oh, dang.
contacts first. It's like there's sometimes you have to be the one to take the initiative. Most times it has to be you because if not you, then who else will it be? So really, it's just sometimes folks just grow apart and they may do a couple moves out of state, in and out of state. Sometimes folks even change their phone numbers. And
Right.
they get a new phone number. It's like, oh, should have lost all my contacts, and I didn't try to remember anything because it's in the 21st century where we had to remember
Right.
phone numbers now. So I was
Do you
like, ah,
remember your home number? Like when you're growing up? Do you
that I still
remember
remember
it?
to this day.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I wonder if your mom would remember it. That'll be funny to find out. She has a memory of that. But
Oh, she does.
so you agree that would make a big difference, right? To just stop reaching out, how significant that is. And it seems so small, but I would love you guys to all do an experiment. And I'm going to do it too today because it's part of my journaling is to write down people that I have to reach out to. And especially like I was telling you with my son, he was crabby. And I'm like, oh, he's gonna hang up on me when I tell him to do this. But just to hear his voice and how much it changed him. And not to mention the 4 people that he reached out to. So it's such a beautiful thing. It's such a beautiful thing and so necessary and so beautiful and so simple.
That's right,
So
indeed.
simple. So,
So,
Dom, do you want to talk a little bit about book writing?
of course, because you got the fabulous books, I should say. It ain't just one book. You're freaking prolific here, but you got to claim your inner warrior to honor your son. You did so many interviews with, man, especially with you being around men, basically all your
Right.
bodybuilding life with the weight training. So yeah. So what was it like putting that book together? What was it, 100 interviews you did, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, I did like a ton. I just made a commitment through the month of November because I had this point, Tom, where I realized like 3 years after my son died that I was, even though like by all appearances I was successful, like like getting interviewed and speaking and coaching and like in magazines and things, I didn't feel it. I felt like, wow, I lost my sense of meaning. I did. I didn't know what it was. And I was driving home from a competition in Utah. And I remember going, I know what it is because it was just coming into the month of November. And I was like, I'm going to celebrate Movember month, which is men's month, a really great organization called Movember, Movember. And they're really dedicated to men's mental health and cancer screening. And so I interviewed, I think it was like 35 guy. I did an interview a day for the month of November or some craziness. And, through that process, I learned so much around, first of all, I was like, oh my gosh, why are they telling me everything? Because it was like so much vulnerability. And I realized that all it takes is a calm, open environment for people to share their heart. And it doesn't require much. But the word that I want people to hear is allow conversations to happen. And because in a lot of ways, if we create a safe haven to have conversation, that's truly the magic of life. And I think that's honestly, that's my biggest honor, even as a coach, is like, I can't believe people trust me this much because I'm trustworthy. But at the same time, I'm like so honored, right? And so deeply, deeply honored. And so I would say the process was really my inspiration from one article that I wrote for a newspaper called How Men Express Grief and Loss. And that was from interviews I did about, I said that I wanted to interview them about success, but really, truly, it was about failure and how so many men didn't have a role model. Even, only one guy out of like the 28 guys I interviewed previously to the podcasting said that their dad was a role model. And that was crushing to me. And a lot of men had nobody. So for me, it was like, wow, if I can create that safe haven for them to say things that they've never said before, because this is what happens when you coach men or you're in deep relationship with men, is that they're going to tell you things that they've never said out loud. And they were doing it in a recording that was going to be played. And they were safe enough to do that and felt like it was important enough for them to do that. So that is really truly what is most important for me, is that sacredness of that. And that began the book where I just, incorporated a bunch of different articles that I had written and then streamlined a little bit more towards men, just communicating to men. I have 5 brothers. I'm used to guys. I love men. I find men really easy to hang with and be with. It's just, I'm comfortable in it. It's just my energy. And so that was actually a really cool process. And I was honored to do it. And that way, it also, as we talked about earlier, clarifies our sense of meaning by writing it out. And because your written word becomes your speaking word, becomes your truth. And that's what people are waiting for. Just because you write a book, hey, not many people read that much anymore, right? I write my books so they're like workbooks. I make them like, all right, you got a journal right here. And I make them short and sweet. But most people don't read. But understand that when you do write, that can become a speaking event. That can become a conversation you have with your child. That can be you having the greater courage to have transparent conversations with people that you love. It's not just like the book, writing a book and yay me, I'm a best-selling author. It's not. It's learning who you are. And I obviously I write nonfiction. I just was, as I mentioned to you, was worked on a memoir. I was part of a challenge this last November. And so that was like an interesting process and not easy and kind of ugly because, we have to go into the darker spots and we don't always want to do that. And also and I would just want to talk a little bit about, if anyone is interested in writing a book, I just want to give you a little framework, if that's okay. Can I do
Oh,
that, Dom?
yeah. Woohoo. Give us the
All right.
framework. Put us in the picture.
Cool. Yeah, no, because truly, if we can't, it is a system. So I would say the first thing you got to figure out is why you want to write a book. Why is now the time that you want to write a book? Write it down. Why do I want to write the book? And I'm not just saying 2 sentences. I'm saying journal it. Why do you want to write the book? And why is now the time? You got to know it. Write it until you like, this is terrible. And you cry and you're like, oh, and you're frustrated. Work through your emotions to figure out your why, because you have something. It's like what I was saying earlier about that longing in you. You want to be famous. You want to movie rights. You want to have, get back in some, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Make it the mess of your why. The second thing is you have to figure out what genre you want to write. Is it romantic? Is it personal development? Is it fiction? Is it nonfiction? Is it poetry? Is like whatever it is that you want, just thinking about what genre you want. And then I would recommend putting a date that you want it published. Now, listen, you can write an ebook and publish it in a week on Amazon. It's one article, 600 words, publish it 99 cents. It's possible, I promise you. But if you're wanting to write something a little bit longer, I'm saying give yourself 6 to 9 months, but not a year. We want to function. Millionaires function in quarters, right? They do as much in a quarter as most people set for a year. So think about, all right, it's going to take me 2 quarters to do this book, and think about it that way and set your date. And then this is the process that's so key, is set your writing ritual. Now, I'm ADHD. I'm flexible. As long as I get a number of words in a day, I'm good. There are a few different ways you can write, and this is really important. Write this down. Every part is okay. Every way is okay. First one is you can do the traditional pen and paper. A lot of my memoir I wrote hand scribbled. You couldn't read it, God bless you, but I wrote it out. The second way is no, it's bad. The second way is you can do it on your computer. Just right. If you're a good typer, just sit down and do your computer. The third way is that you can open up your phone and type in an email or in a Google Doc, type it on your phone. You got a good little story, little, whatever that is, type that in. This is the most valuable way. And this is the way that I really found it very helpful to meet my 50,000 words in November. Is you take your phone, you open it up, you open up an email or Google Doc, you hit your mic, and you tell your story. Tell your story in your phone. It's going to be messy, but the ability to talk it is so authentic and really cool. And I just did memoir day 23, memoir day 24. So there was days that I was like, I don't feel like writing, and then I would just record a story from my childhood. And it doesn't have to be in a sense of order. It's whatever's getting called to your heart. And that would be really important for you guys to know that it's not just, oh, I got to sit in a computer in a corner in a library, locked down, blah, blah, blah. It can be driving in your car. It can, understand that there's fluidity to the writing process now. Really, truly. So just look at it that way. I hope that's helpful. And obviously, if anyone has any questions, just reach out to me. I'm kate@mckay.com. We'll have my stuff in the show notes. So I just want to share that with you too. And the thing that, Dom, I'm offering to people, it's Claim Your Inner Badass mini course. Claim Your Inner Badass is my best-selling book. But the mini course is an exact description of what I talked about in my Post-it notes. So that was 12 years ago that I did those Post-it notes. But I'm still talking the system because it's my system. It's a system that works for me. So that's just, I wanted to share that with you. But thank you for letting me spout on that. Write your book, write your system. People are waiting for you.
There you go. Some plug and play with Kate McKay. I love to see it indeed. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. Well, two more questions for it. I'll let you make a run for it. So, fun question for you. If your wonderful book, Claim Your Inner Warrior, How to Live a Life with Courage and Unleash Your Personal Power. If that book were a food, what would it be and why?
Oh my gosh, it would be a gastronomic delight of big, huge bowl of pasta with tons of cheese and grilled chicken, fresh basil, olive oil drizzled over it. The cheese is fresh grated, pepper, and it's served with warm, chewy ciabatta dipped in oil and garlic and a little red pepper.
Yeah, that's right indeed.
That sounds good.
I can tell someone's hungry.
I'm in a day 2 of a prolonged fast, so yeah.
Oh, no wonder the description was so accurate. I'm like, all right.
I can taste it. I love food. I love food. So anyone's like, do you eat? I'm like, I eat like a pig. The lunch lady, when I'd be like, can I have more of that chicken? She's like, Katie, I don't know, honey. I don't know where you put all that food. Because I was like always hungry. When my kids went to sleepovers, I'd always bring food. And people are like, that's weird. Why are you bringing food? I'm like, oh no, just wait. Wait till you see how much my kids eat. And I'd pick them up in the morning. They'd be like, my God, your kids do eat. Proud of it. Yes.
Hey, all the carbs are good for you in this case, I guess, right? And the
Mhm.
protein.
Yes. Yum.
Uh,
Food is pleasure though, Dom, right? I mean, that's the thing. I think that's one of the benefits of a lot of my memoir was written around food because it's like when you're one of 9, a lot happens, one of 11, a lot happens at the table, and how you learn communal eating and to, protect your mashed potatoes and all of that. So a few of the stories are from that. And I think that if we look at food as celebration, I'm always like, if people don't like food, I'm like, I don't trust you because something's wrong. I'm serious. Do you agree? People who don't
yeah.
eat, I'm like, it's sensuality. It is life. It's a staff of life for a reason, right? I don't know. That's my thing.
I mean, hey, eat to live, am I right?
Yes, so good.
And the
Train
magical
to
question.
eat too, Don. Train to eat, eat to train. Mm-mm.
That's true, because you wouldn't have any calories to burn, and you got to stay energized too.
Yes.
Right, indeed, as part people forget. It's like, oh yeah, can't live off your fat forever if you have a whole lot of it.
Nope.
Oh man, well, we're coming down to the magical question every guest gets to receive, and that is if you wake up tomorrow and you were 25 again, but you're still in the current year, what advice would you give to yourself?
Oh my gosh. Just claim your light. Just claim your light. And you're not too much. You're just enough for the right people.
Yeah, that's right indeed. That's right indeed. For those who say too much, that means they don't have enough yet. That's right indeed. They don't have enough
Hmm.
indeed. That's right indeed. Well, the good news is folks only got 0.01% of what Kate has to offer. So for those who need to dive into the other 99.9% of what you have to offer and keep up with all the stuff that you're doing and cop some copies of your magical books, what's the best way for folks to do so, Kate?
Oh, thank you. So you can find me at kate-mckay.com. I have an Amazon page with all my books. And as I said, I'm giving you away a free course on Claim Your Inner Badass. So if you're curious on how your words and your stories become a course or anything, this is a great way to do it. Just a mini course I created just to give people a little flavor of the magic of claiming your inner badass and your best self to live a life of power, live a life of courage, vitality, and vulnerability and light. So thank you so much for having me, Dom. I appreciate you. I love that we have matching blue bubble mics. Cheers.
Mike, cheers indeed. That's right, indeed. Well, there you have it, folks. Go ahead and check out all of Wonderful Kate's magical snowballs, y'all. That's right, indeed. She's got a whole giant, Great Wall of China-sized igloo of content, y'all. That's right, indeed. Made out of snowball microphones. That's right, indeed, because she's got a whole bunch of content, and she ain't stopping for nothing. She's just getting started, y'all. So check out all of our wonderful wares and keep up with her. Indeed, especially with the camels and the penguins. Tell them about Kate's work too. They could, I mean, hey, a camel can know how to unleash its inner hump hottie. Like, hey, why not, right?
Totally. Why not?
Well, any parting words before a frog tries to hop on?
No, well, a frog will hop on, but we're all cool with that. No, I just want to say thank you. And listeners and viewers, just remember you really do have greatness within you. You do. And, there are days that, we all struggle and moments that we struggle, but know there's a reason why you're going to rise and shine. And I want you to know that if you don't feel it, just know that there is someone that is waiting for you. And that should be enough fuel to realize that you can make a difference. One person at a time, we can make a difference. And so I see you. I love you. I'm grateful for you. And thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you a lot.
If you're hearing this part of the episode, that means you're one cool individual. Thanks a bunch for tuning in, and if you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to share it with at least one other person in your network. Bonus points for 3. And be sure to check out the backlog too while you're at it, because there are hundreds of wonderful episodes to choose from as well.